That's no moon, it's a space Jason Voorhees. I'm John Renton with the Retro Review of Jason X's Jason Voorhees in Space. The famed machete-wielding, hockey mask-wearing killer was put into space because they clearly ran out of ideas for this horror franchise, and when all else fails, put somebody in space. Just put a bunch of one-dimensional stereotypical characters to get killed by a famed villain when the franchise has every bit of blood and water and every bit of fluid wrung out of it, and they're like, well, we need to do a cash grab, so let's do this. And then 8 years later, let's have Michael Bay come along and produce a really bad remake that pretty much finished the franchise off for good. This is also the first Jason movie in about 8 years after Jason Goes to Hell came along, and one hardly needs to go on about that. That one was weird. Wasn't the worst thing, but it was weird. This might as well have been called Jason X Andromeda, because I swear half the goddamn cast were either main characters in Andromeda or even extras. And I think it was an Andromeda set, only cheaper, which is somehow silly, considering that Andromeda wasn't a bad series, but it did have some cheap sets because it was a television series that wasn't Battlestar Galactica. This was not very good. It's one of the worst horror sequels of all time, and I can't fucking believe that they actually thought that this was a good idea to put out. I mean, other than making money. And I remember watching this when I was working at the theater, and I was like, all right, I'll fucking watch it, and it was fucking abysmal. I mean, Kane Hodder, he at least said that, you know, he enjoyed being, you know, on set to revisit one of his favorite kills, which was featured later in the movie. But everybody in the movie, they were clearly, like, just given, like, stupid lines of dialogue, and they're like, okay, we're going to phone this shit in. Let's just say it as dumb as possible. There is a character, Rowan, played by Alexa Doig, or Doge. Maybe she was in the Dogecoin well before it was ever goddamn invented. And David Cronenberg actually had a cameo here. Yes, the David Cronenberg. And then Lisa Ryder, not David Ryder from Space Mutiny, but Lisa Ryder, who was also in Andromeda. Again, Andromeda influence, fuck the world. So, yeah, we open with hellish landscape and everything. That Jason somehow managed to escape from hell. Or they retconned it. Who the fuck knows? He's suddenly in an empty laboratory, and he's just chained up and everything. But he is very much alive. And this one guy covers it. The first line, by the way, was, "Why don't you stare at this for a while, you ugly bastard?" And he covers him with a sheet. And then they're basically, you know, everybody's talking, and Lex's character, Rowan, is like, we're keeping this guy here. You can't transport him. David Cronenberg's character wants to transport him because he can regenerate tissue and he can do all this stuff. It's like he can do all these fancy things. He's so fancy, he don't even know. He's in the fast lane from LA. He never went to Tokyo, which is odd that they never did Jason in Tokyo. Might have been insensitive. Still wouldn't have been as silly as Jason Takes Manhattan. So the dialogue's so forced, so shit, so phoned in, and somehow Jason manages to get unchained, switch with the guy that covered him with a sheet, and then he dispatches everybody. And then it comes down to him and Rowan, and they basically have a face-off. She manages to push him into basically a giant safe that's actually a cryo chamber, and this thing's made of titanium. You can't stab through it. Oh, wait, he totally can, for he is Jason Voorhees, and these sets are really cheap. And the cryo ends up leaking out and basically taking care of her. So they're frozen together. Frozen together forever and ever. And actually until the year 2455, if man is still alive. Turns out man and android and emo girls are still alive even in 2455. And these two are found by a bunch of space plague doctors, plagues in space. That would have actually been hilarious. And well, apparently, after they investigate Jason's body, we find out, some stuff from, like, the past where, oh, he's wearing a hockey mask. That sport was outlawed in 2024. Sorry, hockey fans, you only have 3 years left, apparently. And they find Rowan alive and well, frozen and fine, and my God, she is fine. And even frozen Jason, he, falls out and he ends up cutting off a guy's arm, which is fucking hilarious. But then they put, like, a piece of, like, deli meat on him, and they regenerate his, well, they seal it, and then they regenerate his arm, because it's space, and it's the future, and they can regenerate shit. The spaceship technology looks like it's from a, really cheap, early 80s sci-fi movie. Something is wrong on Saturn III. Wait, no, Saturn III looked better than this. I'm sure the budget was shoestring, $200 and a few ham sandwiches, and basically Kane Hodder, that's gotta be Kane. Probably commanding about, 150 of that $200 budget. I mean, in all seriousness, I'm sure it was a few million, but you can't really tell because everything looked like shit. It was all dark. You couldn't tell what was going on. And then they would have blinky buttony lights that would basically just, you know, highlight, oh wow, these sets are really fucking cheap. So, Crew's a collection of stereotypes. There's some emo girls, some pretty girls, don't get me wrong, and stupid people. We have Discount Tony Todd there. And we have Horny Teens in Space, which actually might have been a better movie. Sounds like another movie I saw online once by mistake. And Reanimation, Shmee Animation. It's Shmee. Is Captain Hook there? And basically Jason's body could be worth a whole lot of money. And Hockey Mask was removed. And then, oh yeah, we get a girl that wants to be, because they're students on the ship studying. And the main guy that wants to preserve Jason's body is also a professor that is into wearing women's lingerie. Nothing wrong with that. I ain't here to kink shame. It was just a bit weird that, and the student wanted to get a giant, like, she wanted to get like a giant boost in her grade, so she had a huge bottle of champagne and nipple clamps that would have like frickin' devoured like 5 sets of nipples put together. Don't ask me how I could tell that. Don't ask me. And I don't know why they did that. We get sort of sudden sex. It's like really badly filmed and badly done. It didn't go full-on gratuitous like the Friday the 13th 2009 movie did. And he's alive because ice machines and cryo doesn't exist in space or in the future. Or in the space future. The future vastness of space. So, one cool death was this blonde girl that basically looked like Bridget Wilson Sampras if she went on a goddamn crash diet. Got her face cryo frozen and slammed into a goddamn, you know, counter. That was pretty funny. There's just a sink full of cryo material right there. Don't accidentally wash your hands or anything. And then Jason was executed for the first time in 2008. Nothing worked, shooting, whatever, hanging. Then they decided to basically just, you know, chain him up until they could figure out what to do. Maybe eject him into space. Was that not an option back then? So one guy gets killed after fucking his girlfriend. Oh, death after snoo snoo. And then we have weird, goofy graphics with monsters. It was like Doom 64 Invaded, only not as good. And then the CGI was ass. I mean, they got their characters, like, you know, killed and everything. The guy gets his arm back, but then he ends up getting his back broken. Maybe he should have gotten another back, you know, from the regeneration machine. Gun it down, but that doesn't work. Everybody starts getting picked off, and, oh, sure, karate and martial arts will take care. Oh, Jason killed you. And, well, he just decides to basically go on a goddamn killing spree. For he is Jason Voorhees, and that's all he goddamn does. One guy gets impaled on a drill, and the captain asks, what's his condition? He's screwed. Aha! Aha! So anyway, Sarge Sven's dead. Ah, he's a 7th victim. Whoo, had to force that pun out there. And one guy gets cut in half. No, he's gotten out. I thought I got him, but I didn't. I should have studied up on this. So, it's like, it's going to take more than one poke to take me down. And then a guy gets stabbed like about a few inches to the left. Yeah, that should do it. And that's it. That was Discount Tony Todd, by the way. So they tried to basically arrive at the Solaris station, which still went better than the movie Sunshine, but they crash into it after Jason kills the pilot. Jason killed like 3 pilots in this movie, which was hilarious. We lost our entire, you know, port pontoon. I don't know why that line made me laugh. The thought of somebody losing their pontoon is hilarious to me. And let's just aimlessly, you know, and meanderingly stare at the door and everything. And oh, suddenly Jason's here. Wait, he crashed through the glass. Why don't you stick your head out and have a peek? It's okay, guys. He just wanted his machete back. These were lines that somebody was paid to fucking write and people were paid to act. And then suddenly, Rowan is a badass. Not to be confused with Eric Rowan, a.k.a. Eric Redbeard. Would have been hilarious for him to be in this movie, but it would have been weird, because this was 20 years ago. Remake Jason X and have Eric Redbeard in it. No, wait, don't do that. Have Eric Redbeard do other movies. So you're just lucky that you weren't here for the, you know, the fallout of Microsoft, the Microsoft conflict. We were beating each other up with our own severed limbs. You know, stuff for the future. I mean, Bill Gates and his wife just got divorced. Oh no, what are we in for? And then basically Jason kills more pilots, and the android gets upgraded. That was Lisa Ryder. She was KM-14, and she dispatches him and kills him. And damn androids and their goddamn flippy shit, and then Jason gets, you know, destroyed. But, oh no, he's on the nano bed that they use to revive Rowan. And goddamn, Lexa looks fucking great. And then we can rebuild him. We have the technology, but we're over budget, so we can't spend too much. So just assume that we did something here. And you guys might want to run. And then she gets decapitated, but she's an android, so she's okay. It's not like Bishop. You know, it's not like Bishop beats Queen or Queen beats Bishop, because that's what happened in those movies. Vastly better movies. And the emo girl that was wearing a shirt that was cut right down here, so it wasn't a complaint from me. She gets sucked through a hole in the spaceship, but they can't afford to show her body getting sucked through, so we just see a little bit of meat flapping there. A little bit of veggie meat slapping. And they create a diversion on this holodeck, like where the video game was. And oh, it's Camp Crystal Lake, and then Kane Hodder gets to revisit his favorite kill where he beat girls with a goddamn, beat girls up in sleeping bags. That was kind of funny. I don't know why it was funny, but it was pretty funny. And then the captain, Discount Tony Todd, sacrifices himself because he's been revived. And he gets Jason out of the way, and they get rescued. And that's it. Everything's fine. Oh, but wait, they go down, to Earth 2, Electric Boogaloo, on re-entry. And this couple's looking. It's Camp Crystal Lake 2. Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. They are basically, looking, oh, Shooting Star, Make-A-Wish. Hey, crash into the lake. Let's go see. And the mask crashes into the goddamn lake. And oh my god. I'm glad they didn't make Jason X1. It would have been like WrestleMania 11. Movie's ass. Let's see. What do I do? Oh, yeah. Here we go. Yeah. There we go. Let's shred this shit up. Jason in space. I mean, I've seen worse, but it's still, like, amazing just how bad this was. They put no effort into this. Any ingenuity they tried to, infuse or, put into this movie was like maybe 0.5%. Everything else was ass. It was a cash grab. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.